Hi guys, I'm Vinny. I recently retired at the age of 47 after being made redundant for the second time in my career. I've been investing heavily since my 20s and I was able to put away enough money to give myself an early retirement at the age of 47. I've had a few comments on the channel recently which go along the lines of I'm 45 years old, or I'm 55 years old, or I'm 60, and you started investing in your 20s and you've had a big head start on me. It's too late for me to start investing now. My husband spends too much money, my wife spends too much money. It's too late for me to start saving. The mortgage is too big. I've got too many debts, etc. And I just wanted to address those comments really. I know a lot of people who think that they can't retire really. And what I've found in general is that the reason they can't retire really is they're spending a lot more money than they bring in. So they can't put aside any money for early retirement. And a lot of people have got themselves in this position because they've run up lots and lots of debts so they can buy stuff to impress other people. The huge house, the designer clothes, the brand new cars every few years, the new kitchens every few years, redecorating the house constantly. And for some reason, a lot of people in society measure success on how much money that you spend. And unfortunately, a lot of people have ended up with these huge debts because they just don't want to admit that they're faking their success and they're just doing it to impress other people. And I do understand that to some degree. I know lots of people like that who buy the new cars, they have the big house, they have the $10,000 smile. But for the vast majority of people, it's all bought on credit. So here's a quote that you may recognize. It's from one of my favorite films. Some of you guys will recognize the film straight away. It's a film called Fight Club starring Brad Pitt. If you've not seen it, go and check it out. And if you have seen it, go and rewatch it. There is a huge amount of wisdom in that film, and there are a lot of lessons in that film which will help you to retire early. When people say to me, oh, I'm spending too much money, I'm in so much debt, I can never afford to retire early. Here are my thoughts on that. I have this image in my head from the film The Fugitive starring Harrison Ford. So that's the 1993 version of the film. The scene I'm thinking of is where Harrison Ford is on the prison bus and he's on his way to prison and he's shackled up, he's got the handcuffs on and he can't move. And what I've found from experience is that when a lot of people talk about their spending habits, a lot of them think that they are like Harrison Ford. They're kind of shackled up on the bus, they're a prisoner on the bus and they've got no control over what's happening in their lives. And the vast majority of people are sat on this bus voluntarily by their own choosing. So let's call this bus the consumerism bus. And let's say it's going to a destination that you really don't want to go to. So it's going to Brokestown or Bankruptsville. So here's the revelation, guys. For the vast majority of people, anytime you want, you can stand up, you can press the stop button and you can get off the bus at the next stop. You're not a prisoner on the bus. You don't have to carry on to the final stop. An awful lot of people have already realised this and they've stood up, they've rung the bell and they've got off the bus already. A lot of people like me got off the bus really, really early. We stood up one day and we said, wow, this seems like a pretty silly way to live, going to work all day long and then spending all that money and repeating that cycle over and over and over again until you're too old to do it anymore. So people like me have hit the stop button and we've got off the bus very, very early on. Some people will never get off that bus. Some people will stay on that bus all of their lives. And the more stops they miss, they'll get more angry and they'll get more bitter. But they'll stay on that bus for the rest of their lives. It will never occur to them that they can simply stand up, press the stop button and just get off the bus at the next stop. So here's the positive bit, guys. It doesn't matter how far along that bus journey that you are. At any time, you can always get up. You can press the stop button, you can get off at the next stop. And you can start saving and investing so that you can retire early. Now you may have got off the bus a lot later than other people and you may have a fairly long walk back to the start, but the sooner you get off the bus, the sooner you can start the journey back to where you need to be to retire early. So if you're still stuck on this consumerism bus, have a think about that and have a think about whether you can get off the bus earlier and start making that journey back so that you can think about retiring early. Even if you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s or whatever, you've still got time to start that journey back. Ultimately, the journey's going to finish anyway, so the sooner you decide to get off that bus and take control, the better. I started saving and investing in my 20s, and I totally agree with some of the comments. I've definitely had a big head start on most people. So if you're 47 years old now, same age as me, and you've started saving and investing, obviously you're not going to be able to retire straight away. But here's the thing, if you cut back your spending now, get rid of your debts and start saving and investing, you can still retire earlier than most people. It's a question of you saying, right, I'm going to make those sacrifices now. I don't want to be working until I'm 67, 70, 75. So I'm going to make those sacrifices now. I'm going to get my spending under control, I'm going to pay off my debt, and I'm going to start saving towards an early retirement. Even if you're in your 50s, even if you're in your 60s, if you get those spending habits under control and start your saving and investing, you can still shave some years off your retirement age. Even if you can shave off 5 or 6 years, even if you can shave off 1 or 2 years, it's still definitely worth doing, in my opinion. So if you are one of these people in the position where you're saying, I don't know how I can retire early, my spending's out of control, my debt's out of control, etc., go and take action immediately. Go and sit down and say, how can I get this under control? How can I shave some years off my retirement? As I say, it's worth doing now. The last thing to bear in mind is when you retire, your income is most likely going to drop off a cliff anyway. So the sooner you start controlling your spending and learning to live on less, the better. So I hope you found that useful, guys. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave me a like. If you'd like to join me on my early retirement journey, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I'll hopefully see you on the next video. Cheers, take it easy, bye for now.